The Grand Council chamber was full. Representatives from 100 worlds sat in their seats. They discussed trade agreements, border disputes, new laws, the usual business of governing a galaxy. None of them noticed the 8 humans walking through the main entrance. Humans were common on Orbital 7. They worked in the lower levels. They served in restaurants. They cleaned corridors. They were background noise, invisible. That was about to change. Tay walked at the front of the group. He carried the wrapped bundle in his arms. Behind him came his team. They walked with purpose. They walked without fear. Guards looked at them with curiosity, but did not stop them. Why would they? Humans were harmless. Everyone knew that the council speaker was in the middle of a speech about mining rights when Tay reached the center platform. He walked up the steps. He stood where he had stood weeks before, where he had asked for justice, where he had been laughed at. The speaker stopped talking. Its branch-like head turned toward the human. Confusion showed on its ancient face. What is the meaning of this? It asked. This session is closed to the public. Tay said nothing. He unwrapped the bundle slowly, carefully. The dark cloth fell away. And Officer Vela's head rolled onto the floor. Silence. Complete and total silence. Every being in the chamber stared at the severed head. Yellow eyes open, mouth frozen in fear, green scales covered in dried blood. Then the screaming started. Aliens jumped from their seats. Guards rushed forward. Weapons were drawn. Voices shouted in a dozen languages. The 8 humans did not move. They stood in a circle around Tay. Calm, steady, ready. Silence. The council speaker's voice boomed through the chamber. The screaming stopped. The guards hesitated. Everyone looked at the ancient being. It stared at Tay with eyes that had seen 10,000 years. What have you done? Tay met its gaze. I have delivered justice. Justice? A representative from the seat screamed. It was a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. You call murder justice? Yes. Tay's voice was quiet, but it carried through the silent chamber. 3 weeks ago, Officer Vela attacked my daughter, a 6-year-old child. She broke her nose, cracked her ribs, left her bleeding on the floor. I brought my complaint to this council. I showed you the evidence. I asked for punishment. He paused. His eyes moved across the chamber. You laughed at me. You called my daughter an animal. You said Vala did nothing wrong. He looked down at the head on the floor. So I decided to handle it myself. The gray alien stepped forward. Guards, arrest these humans. The guards moved. They raised their weapons. They aimed at the 8 humans. Hugh spoke. His old voice was surprisingly strong. Before you do something foolish, let me explain what will happen. The guards paused. Something in the human's voice made them listen. There are over 50,000 humans on this station, Hugh continued. They work in every section. They know every system. They have access to life support, to power, to communications. If you arrest us, if you harm us, they will act. And you will learn exactly how dangerous a Deathworld species can be when it is threatened. You are bluffing, the gray alien said. But there was doubt in its voice. Am I? Hyuk smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. We humans have a history. A long history of war, of violence, of survival against impossible odds. We have killed each other by the millions. We have destroyed our own cities. We have burned our own lands. We are very good at destruction. He spread his arms. And you think you can threaten us? You think your guards frighten us? We grew up fighting things far more dangerous than you. Minho stepped forward. His big hands were open, empty, but everyone could see the power in them. I could kill 10 of your guards before they pulled their triggers. Would you like me to demonstrate? The guards stepped back. They could see it in his eyes. He was not lying. The council speaker raised a branch-like hand. "Lower your weapons." The guards obeyed. "Let the human speak." Tay nodded. "Thank you." He walked around Vela's head slowly. "I did not come here to start a war. I came here to send a message. A simple message that every species in this galaxy needs to understand." He stopped. He looked up at the hundreds of faces watching him, afraid, confused, angry. "Do not hurt our children." The words hung in the air like thunder. "Humans are new to the galaxy," Tay continued. "We have been out here for only 10 years. Many of you look down on us. You think we are primitive, violent, dangerous, and you are right. We are all of those things. But we are also protective, fiercely protective. Our families mean everything to us. Our children are our future." He pointed at Vela's head. This officer struck a human child. Not a soldier, not a criminal, a child. A little girl who got lost in a corridor. And when I asked for justice, I was denied, mocked, dismissed. His voice hardened. "So I took justice for myself, as any human would, as any parent would." Unji stepped forward. "On Earth, we have a phrase. Don't poke the bear. It means do not provoke something dangerous. Do not wake something that is sleeping." She looked around the chamber. "Humans have been quiet since we joined the galaxy. We have worked hard. We have followed your rules. We have tried to fit in. But that ends today." Byung-ho spoke next. "From now on, every species needs to understand something. If you harm a human child, there will be consequences. Not from your courts, not from your councils. From us, directly, personally, without mercy." Soman added, "We are not asking for special treatment. We are not demanding anything. We are simply stating a fact. Hurt our children, and we will find you. No matter where you hide, no matter who protects you, we will find you, and we will end you." Ji-woo smiled her cold smile. "The galaxy is big, but not big enough to hide from Deathworlders." Doan said nothing. He just cracked his knuckles. The sound echoed through the silent chamber. The council speaker stared at them for a long moment. Its ancient mind processed what it had heard, what it had seen, what it had learned. "You have made your point," it said finally. "But there must be consequences. You have killed a galactic officer. You have threatened this council. These acts cannot go unpunished." Tay nodded. "I understand. I am willing to face judgment, alone. My team was following my orders. I take full responsibility." "No." Minho stepped forward. "We all take responsibility. We all made this choice." Together, Yoonji agreed. The others nodded. The council speaker studied them. 8 humans, standing together, ready to face whatever came. It had not seen such loyalty in centuries. "The council will deliberate," it said. "You will be held until a decision is made. Guards, escort them to holding cells. Do not harm them." The guards approached carefully, respectfully. They had learned something today. Something important. Tay went with them willingly. His team followed. They had done what they came to do. The message was sent. Whatever happened next did not matter. As he was led away, Tay thought about Yuna, about her smile, about her laugh, about the fear in her eyes when she woke from nightmares. He hoped she would understand someday. He hoped she would know that her father loved her enough to burn down the galaxy. The council deliberated for 3 days. In the end, they made a choice. A careful choice. A political choice. The humans were released. All charges were dropped. Officer Vela's death was ruled as self-defense during a confrontation. The official record was sealed. No one believed the official story. Everyone knew what really happened, And that was the point. In the weeks that followed, something changed in the galaxy. Humans were no longer invisible. They were no longer background noise. When humans walked into a room, other species noticed. When human children played in public spaces, guards watched over them. Not to protect the galaxy from humans. To protect humans from anyone foolish enough to threaten them. Tay returned home to his family. Hannah held him for a long time. She did not ask questions. She did not need to. Yuna hugged his legs and smiled. The fear in her eyes was fading, slowly, day by day. "Father," she asked one evening, "will the bad alien ever come back?" Tay knelt down to her level. He looked into her eyes. "No, little one. She will never hurt anyone again. Promise?" "I promise." Yuna smiled. A real smile. The first one since that terrible day. Far across the galaxy, species spoke in whispers about what had happened on Orbital 7. They told stories about the Deathworlders who had walked into the Grand Council chamber with a severed head, who had threatened the most powerful beings in the galaxy and walked away free. The stories grew with each telling. They became legends, warnings, lessons that do not harm human children. Never forget what Deathworlders are capable of. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, a small family from a dangerous little planet lived in peace. Protected not by laws, not by councils, not by guards, protected by something far more powerful. The love of a father, the rage of a mother, the unbreakable bond of family. And the certain knowledge that if anyone ever threatened them again, 8 Deathworlders would rise from the shadows, ready to remind the galaxy why Earth was called a death world. Ready to do whatever it took. No matter the cost. No matter the consequences. Because that is what humans do. They survive. They protect. And they never, ever forget. The night cycle began at 2200 station time. The lights in the corridors dimmed. Most of the station's residents went to sleep. Activity dropped to its lowest point. This was the time they had chosen. Tay stood in the storage room with his team. They wore dark clothes, simple, practical, nothing that would stand out. They carried no weapons. They did not need them. Their hands were weapons enough. Hugh looked at each of them. Remember the plan. Stay silent. Stay together. If something goes wrong, we adapt. We do not panic. We are professionals. They nodded. No one spoke. There was nothing left to say. Dahan checked his tablet one last time. Cameras along the route will loop starting in 30 seconds. We have a 12-minute window. That's enough, Jiwoo said. I timed her patrol. She passes through corridor 7B in 8 minutes. She will be alone. Tay took a deep breath. Let's go. They moved like ghosts through the station. 8 humans walking in perfect silence. Their footsteps made no sound. Their breathing was controlled. They had done this many times during the war. Moving through enemy territory. Hunting, killing, surviving. The corridors were empty. Most aliens slept during the night cycle. A few workers passed by in the distance. They did not see the humans. They did not know death was walking among them. My Nho led the way. His big body moved with surprising grace. Behind him came Jiwoo, then Tay, then the others. Yuk stayed at the back, watching, guarding. They reached corridor 7B in 6 minutes. It was a maintenance passage. Dim lights. No cameras. No witnesses. The perfect place for what they planned. They spread out along the walls. Waiting. Watching. Listening. 2 minutes passed. Then they heard it. Footsteps. Heavy footsteps. The sound of scales scraping against the metal floor. Officer Vela turned the corner. She walked with confidence. Her yellow eyes scanned the corridor, but she did not see the humans. They were hidden in the shadows. Still as statues, she walked forward. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. Then Minho moved. He came out of the darkness like a nightmare. His big hand grabbed Vela by the throat. He lifted her off the ground. Her feet kicked in the air. Her hands clawed at his arm. But his grip was like iron. Vela's eyes went wide with shock. Then with fear. She had never felt fear before. She had always been the stronger one. The one in control. Now she understood what it felt like to be prey. The other humans emerged from the shadows. They surrounded her. Their faces were blank. Their eyes were cold. There was no anger in them. No hate. Just purpose. Do you know who I am? Tay stepped forward. His voice was calm, quiet, terrifying. Vela could not speak. Minho's hand was crushing her throat. But she recognized the human. The one from the council chamber. The father. You hurt my daughter, Tay said. You broke her nose. You cracked her ribs. You made her afraid to sleep at night. He moved closer. I gave you a chance. I went to your justice system. I asked them to punish you. Do you know what they did? Vala's eyes darted around. Looking for escape. Looking for help. There was none. They laughed. Tay continued. They called my daughter an animal. They said you did nothing wrong. He shook his head slowly. They were wrong. You did everything wrong. And now you will pay. Minho released his grip. Vela dropped to the ground. She gasped for air. Her throat burned. She tried to stand, but her legs would not work. Please, she managed to say. Her voice was broken. Please, I am an officer. The council is not here, someone said. She knelt beside Vela. Her cold eyes looked into the alien's yellow ones. No one is here. Just us. Just you. Just the consequences of your actions. Vela tried to crawl away. Byung-ho stepped on her tail. She cried out in pain. In our culture, Yoonji said, there is a saying, an eye for an eye. It means when someone hurts you, you hurt them back equally. She paused. But that is for normal crimes. What you did was worse. You hurt a child. Our child. For that, the price is higher. Vela began to shake. She had seen many things in her 40 years of service. She had faced criminals, killers, monsters, but she had never been afraid of any of them. Now she was afraid. Truly afraid. Because she finally understood. These humans were not civilized. They were not soft. They were not the weak animals she had believed them to be. They were predators. The most dangerous predators in the galaxy. And she had made the mistake of threatening their young. On Earth, Hugh said, there is another saying. Mama bear. It refers to a female bear protecting her cubs. Bears are large animals, dangerous, but nothing is more dangerous than a mother bear when her cubs are threatened. He looked at Tay. The same is true for fathers, for families, for our entire species. Tay knelt in front of Viola. He looked into her eyes. He wanted her to see. He wanted her to understand. My daughter asked me why you hurt her, he said. She asked me what she did wrong. She is 6 years old. She does not understand hatred. She does not understand cruelty. She just wanted to explore, to see new things, to learn. A tear fell from Vela's eye. She did not know she could cry. She had never cried before. You took something from her that night, Tay continued. You took her innocence, her sense of safety, her belief that the universe is a good place. His voice hardened. I cannot give that back to her, but I can give her justice. I can show her that bad people get punished, that the universe does care, that her father will always protect her. He stood up. "Do it," he said. My NHO stepped forward. His hands were steady. His face was calm. What happened next was quick, efficient, professional. They had done this before. During the war. They knew how to kill. They knew how to make it clean. Vela did not suffer. That was not their purpose. They were not torturers. They were executioners. There was a difference. When it was done, Minho looked at Tay. In his hands, he held what they had come for. "Now comes the hard part," Hugh said, delivering the message. They wrapped their burden in dark cloth. They moved through the corridors again, silent as before. The cameras were still looped. The station was still asleep. They reached the lower levels without incident. Their safe room waited. They had a few hours before the night cycle ended. A few hours to rest. To prepare. To wait for the right moment. Tay sat in the corner. He stared at the wrapped bundle. He thought about what he had done. What they had all done. He felt no guilt. No regret. He felt only a cold satisfaction. Vila had hurt his daughter. Now Vila was dead. The universe made sense again. Jiwoo sat beside him. "Are you all right?" "I am." He meant it. "She deserved this. I know." Jiwoo put a hand on his shoulder. "We all know. That's why we came." Morning would bring the final act. They would walk into the council chamber. They would deliver their message. They would show the galaxy what happened when someone harmed a human child. Some would call them murderers. Some would call them terrorists. Some would call them animals. Let them. Tay did not care what the galaxy thought of him. He cared about one thing. His daughter. His family. His people. And he had protected them. In the only way that truly mattered. The others rested. Some slept. Some did not. They all knew what tomorrow would bring. Danger. Possibly death. Definitely consequences. None of them were afraid. They had faced death before. They had walked through fire and come out the other side. They were Deathworlders. Products of a planet that tried to kill them every day. They had survived. They had evolved. They had become something the galaxy did not understand. Something the galaxy was about to learn to fear. The hours passed slowly. Then quickly. Then it was morning. Tay stood up. He picked up the wrapped bundle. It was heavier than he expected. Or maybe it was just the weight of what it represented. "Time to go," he said. His team formed around him. 8 humans. 8 Deathworlders. 8 people who had looked at the galaxy's justice and found it wanting. They walked out of the storage room and into the light. Toward the council chamber. Toward history. Toward a reckoning that had been centuries in the making. The first to arrive was Minho. He was a big man with broad shoulders and hands like stones. He had been a soldier with Tay during the Eastern War. They had fought side by side for 2 years. Minho had saved Tay's life twice. Tay had saved his 3 times. They did not need to count anymore. They were brothers in blood. Minho worked as a cargo handler on a mining station now. The work was hard, but it kept him strong. When he got Tay's message, he quit his job the same day. He did not ask questions. He did not need to. If Tay called for help, then help was needed. That was enough. The second to arrive was Jiwoo. She was small and thin. Her hair was cut short. Her eyes missed nothing. During the war, she had been a scout. She could move without sound. She could see in near darkness. She could track a target across any terrain. Now she worked as a hunter on a frontier world. She tracked dangerous animals for rich aliens who wanted trophies. It was boring work. Tay's message was the most exciting thing that had happened to her in years. The third was Dohan. He was tall and quiet. He rarely spoke more than 10 words in a day. But when he did speak, people listened. Dohan had been an explosives expert during the war. He could build a bomb from almost anything. He could also disarm any bomb ever made. He worked in a demolition company now, tearing down old buildings on colony worlds. It paid well, but it did not satisfy him. Nothing satisfied him except the thrill of danger. The fourth was Yunji. She was 40 years old with gray in her hair and scars on her hands. She had been a medic during the war. She had seen more death than anyone should see. But she had also saved many lives. Her hands were steady. Her mind was calm. She worked in a hospital on a space station now, helping aliens, healing wounds. But she never forgot where she came from. She never forgot what humans could do when pushed. The fifth was Byung-ho. He was young, only 25. He had not fought in the same war as Tae. He had fought in a different one, a smaller one. But war was war. It changed everyone the same way. Byung-ho was fast, very fast. His reflexes were beyond normal. He worked as a security guard on a luxury liner. The job was easy, too easy. He welcomed Tae's call like a gift. The sixth was Somin. She was 42 with a thin face and cold eyes. She had been an interrogator during the war. She knew how to get information from people. She knew how to make them talk. She knew how to make them afraid. Now she worked as a negotiator for a trading company. She used words instead of pain. But she still remembered the old ways. She would never forget them. The seventh was Hyuk. He was 50 years old, the oldest of the group. His body was covered in scars from old battles. He walked with a slight limp from a wound that never healed right. But his mind was sharp, sharper than anyone Tae had ever known. Hyuk had been a commander during the war. He had planned operations. He had led men. Now he lived alone on a quiet world, growing vegetables, watching the stars, waiting for something to make him feel alive again. They arrived on Orbital 7 over the course of 3 days. They came separately. They did not want to attract attention. They used fake names and fake documents. They were good at hiding. War had taught them that. Tae met them in a small room in the lower levels of the station. It was a storage area, dark and forgotten. No cameras, no witnesses. They sat in a circle on old crates. Tae looked at each of them. His friends, his comrades, his brothers and sisters in arms. "Thank you for coming," he said. Minho shook his head. "You don't thank family." "What happened?" Tae told them. He showed them the video. He told them about the council, about Officer Vila, about how they had laughed at him, about how they had called his daughter an animal. When he finished, silence filled the room. But it was not an empty silence. It was a silence full of anger, full of rage, full of something dark and dangerous. Ji-woo spoke first. "Where is this Vela now?" "She works in the enforcement division on level 42. She lives in officer housing on level 50. She follows the same routine every day. She is confident. She thinks nothing can touch her." Hyuk nodded slowly. "She thinks the council protects her." "It does," Tae said. "For now. Then we need to be careful." Hyuk's mind was already working. "We cannot just attack her. The station has security, cameras, guards. If we are caught, it will cause problems for all humans." Somin leaned forward. "So we don't get caught. How?" Byung-ho asked. "The station is controlled. Every movement is tracked." Dahan spoke for the first time. His voice was deep and quiet. "I can handle the cameras. Give me access to the security system, and I can create blind spots." "I can get you access," Tae said. "I have been studying the system for weeks." Ji-woo smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "I can track her movements. Find the right time and place. What about guards? Minho asked. Officers? Others who might get in the way. We avoid them if we can, Hugh said. Kill them if we must. But our target is Vela. Only Vela. This is not war. This is justice. We do not harm innocents. Yunji looked at Tae. What about after? What happens when they find her body? Tae had thought about this. He had thought about it every night while watching his daughter cry in her sleep. We don't hide it. We don't run. We make it a message. A message? Byung-ho frowned. To who? To the council. To every alien who thinks humans are animals. To everyone who believes they can hurt our children without consequences. Tae's eyes were hard. We take her head, and we deliver it to the council chamber. We show them what happens when you cross Deathworlders. Silence again. Then Minho laughed. It was a dark laugh. A dangerous laugh. I like it, he said. I like it very much. One by one, the others nodded. They understood. This was not just about revenge. This was about respect. This was about showing the galaxy that humans would not be pushed around, would not be treated like animals, would not let their children be hurt without answer. How long do we have? Soman asked. As long as we need, Tae said. But I want it done soon. Every day that Vela walks free is an insult to my daughter. Hyuk stood up. His old bones creaked, but his eyes were bright. Then let us plan. We need to know everything. Her schedule, her habits, her weaknesses. We need to know the station, the corridors, the blind spots. We need to be perfect. One mistake and we fail. We won't fail, Jiwoo said. We never failed during the war. We won't start now. For 3 days, they watched. They learned. They planned. Jiwoo followed Vela like a shadow. She learned when Vela woke up, when she ate, when she worked, when she slept. Vela was predictable. She did the same things at the same times every day. She was confident in her safety. She had no idea that death was watching her. Duhan studied the security system. He found the weaknesses, the gaps, the places where cameras did not reach. He created a path through the station, a path that could not be traced. Hugh planned the operation. Every step, every movement, every possibility. He thought of everything that could go wrong and how to fix it. He was thorough. He was careful. He was brilliant. The others prepared themselves. They exercised. They practiced. They made sure their bodies and minds were ready. Hannah watched from the apartment. She knew what her husband was planning. She did not try to stop him. She understood. She was a mother. Her child had been hurt. Part of her wanted to join them. Part of her wanted to be there when Vela paid for what she had done. But she stayed with Yuna. Her daughter needed her. That was more important than revenge. On the 4th night, Tae came to her. He knelt beside the bed where Yuna slept. He looked at his daughter's face. The bruises were fading, but the fear in her eyes remained. It would take a long time to heal. Maybe it would never fully heal. Tomorrow, Tae said quietly. Hannah nodded. Be careful. I will. Promise me you'll come back. Tae looked at his wife. He loved her more than words could say. I promise. He kissed Yuna's forehead gently. Then he kissed Hannah. He held her for a long moment. Then he left. Tomorrow, Officer Vela would learn why humans were called Deathworlders. Tomorrow, the galaxy would remember why Earth was feared. Tomorrow, a message would be sent in blood, and nothing would ever be the same. Tae ran through the corridors of Orbital 7. His feet pounded against the metal floor. His heart beat fast and hard in his chest. People moved out of his way. They could see something in his eyes. something that told him not to get in his path. He found Yuna in the gray corridor. She was still on the ground. Her small body looked so fragile, so broken. Blood had dried on her face. Her eyes were closed. Tay dropped to his knees beside her. His hands shook as he touched her face. Yuna, Yuna, can you hear me? Her eyes opened slowly. They were full of tears and fear. Father? I'm here. His voice broke. I'm here now. He picked her up gently. She weighed almost nothing in his arms. He held her close to his chest and carried her back home. Every step he took, he made a promise. A dark promise. A promise of blood. Hannah screamed when she saw her daughter. She took Yuna from Tay's arms and laid her on the bed. Her hands moved quickly, checking for injuries, cleaning the blood. Her nurse training took over. Her nose is broken, Hannah said. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled. 2 of her ribs are cracked. She has a concussion. She looked at her husband. What happened? Who did this? Tay showed her the video on his cracked tablet. Hannah watched it. Once, twice, 3 times. Each time, her face grew paler. Each time, her eyes grew harder. That creature, she whispered. That monster. I will handle it, Tay said. How? Hannah looked at him. She is a galactic officer. They will protect her. I will go through official channels first. Tay's voice was calm. Too calm. I will give them a chance to do the right thing. The next morning, Tay went to the station's Justice Center. It was a large building near the core of Orbital 7. Many species worked there. They handled disputes. They made judgments. They were supposed to keep order and fairness. Tay waited for 3 hours. Finally, a small alien called his name. It looked like a bird with blue feathers. Its voice was high and annoying. You wish to file a complaint? It asked. Yes. Tay placed his tablet on the desk. Officer Vila attacked my daughter. I have video proof. The bird alien watched the video. Its feathers moved slightly. Then it looked at Tay with cold eyes. Officer Vela was enforcing restricted area protocols. Your daughter should not have been there. Tay felt his jaw tighten. My daughter is 6 years old. She cannot read alien languages. She got lost. That does not give anyone the right to beat her. Officer Vela used appropriate force for a trespasser. Appropriate force? Tay leaned forward. She broke my daughter's nose. She cracked her ribs. She is 6 years old. The bird alien made a sound. It might have been a laugh. Humans are classified as Category 3 Deathworlders. Your children are stronger than adults of most species. Officer Vela used force appropriate for a Deathworlder threat. A threat? Tay's voice rose. She is a child. She is a human. From our perspective, there is little difference. The alien pushed the tablet back to Tay. Your complaint is rejected. Officer Vila acted within her authority. This matter is closed. Tay stared at the alien. He wanted to reach across the desk. He wanted to show this creature what a real Deathworlder threat looked like. But he did not. Not yet. He still had other options. I want to speak to the Council, he said. The Galactic Council does not hear minor disputes. This is not a minor dispute. An officer attacked a human child. This could affect relations between Earth and the Council. The bird alien paused. Its feathers moved again. Very well. I will pass your request to the Council. But do not expect them to care. Humans are new to the galaxy. You have no power here. No influence. You are tolerated because you are useful. Nothing more. Tay took his tablet and left. His hands were steady. His face was blank. But inside, a fire was burning. 2 weeks passed. Tay received a message. The Council had agreed to hear his complaint. He was surprised. He had not expected them to respond at all. The council chamber was massive. It was a round room with seats rising high on all sides. Representatives from 100 species sat there. They looked down at Tay like he was an insect. Something small and unimportant dot in the center of the room stood a platform. Tay stood there alone. He felt their eyes on him. He did not care. He had faced worse than staring aliens. The council speaker was an ancient creature. Its body was like a tree trunk. Branches grew from its head like hair. Its voice was deep and slow. "Human Tay," it said, "you have brought a complaint against Officer Vela of the Galactic Enforcement Division. Present your case." Tay activated his tablet. The video played on the large screens around the room. The council watched. Some looked bored. Some looked confused. A few looked interested. When the video ended, Tay spoke. "Officer Vela attacked my daughter without reason. My daughter was lost. She was not a threat. She is 6 years old. On Earth, this would be a crime. I asked the council to punish Officer Vela and provide justice for my family." Silence filled the chamber. Then a sound broke it. Laughter. Officer Vela sat in the front row of seats. She was laughing openly. Her yellow eyes looked at Tay with amusement and contempt. "May I speak?" she asked the council speaker. "You may." Vela stood. She walked to the center of the room. She stopped a few feet from Tay. Up close, he could see every scale on her face. He could smell her breath. It was cold and dry. "This human comes to us with complaints about discipline," she said. "Let me tell you about humans. They come from Earth, a death world. Their planet tries to kill them every day. They evolved by killing everything around them. They killed their predators. They killed their prey. They killed each other. They are animals. Dangerous animals." She turned to face the council. "When I saw the human child in a restricted area, I saw a threat. Human children have killed adults of other species. This is documented. I used appropriate force to neutralize the threat. I did my job." The council speaker nodded slowly. "Officer Vela's record is excellent. She has served for 40 years. She has never been disciplined. The council sees no reason to punish her for following protocol." Tay felt something snap inside him. Protocol? She beat a child. She enjoyed it. I saw it in her eyes. Human Tay. The council speaker's voice was firm. "Your complaint is noted, but it is rejected. Officer Vela will not be punished. This matter is closed." Vela turned to Tay. She leaned close. Her voice was a whisper. Only he could hear it. "Go home, animal. Take care of your injured pup. And be grateful I did not kill her. Next time, I might not be so gentle." She walked away. Her footsteps echoed in the chamber. The council members began to leave. The matter was over for them. Tay stood alone on the platform. He did not move. He did not speak. He simply watched as the aliens left the chamber. They had no idea what they had just done. He had given them a chance. He had tried the official way. He had asked for justice. They had laughed at him. Now there would be no more asking. No more waiting. No more playing by their rules. Tay left the council chamber. He walked through the corridors of Orbital 7. His face was calm. His steps were steady. But his mind was working. He thought about his old friends. Men and women he had served with during the war. Soldiers. Fighters. Survivors. They were scattered across the galaxy now. Some worked as guards. Some worked as hunters. Some worked in places that had no names. They all had one thing in common. They were all from Earth. They were all Deathworlders. And they all understood one simple truth. When someone hurts your family, you do not ask for justice. You take it. Tay returned to his apartment. Hannah was sitting with Yuna. Their daughter was healing, but the fear in her eyes remained. She flinched at loud sounds now. She cried at night. What did the council say? Hannah asked. They rejected my complaint. Hannah closed her eyes. I knew they would. Tay sat beside his wife. He took her hand. I gave them a chance. They chose wrong. Hannah looked at him. She understood. She had always understood. What will you do? What I should have done from the beginning. He pulled out his tablet. I'm going to make some calls. That night, messages flew across space. Encrypted, untraceable. They reached old friends in distant places. The messages were short. They said only one thing. I need help. Someone hurt my daughter. It's time to remind the galaxy why they fear us. The responses came quickly. One by one. Yes. 7 people. 7 Deathworlders. 7 reasons for the galaxy to be afraid. They were coming to Orbital 7, and they were bringing the rage of Earth with them. The station was called Orbital 7. It floated in the darkness of space like a giant metal wheel. Thousands of aliens lived there. They came from many worlds. Some had scales. Some had feathers. Some had skin that changed colors. And some were human. Tay stood near the window of his small apartment. He looked at the stars outside. They were far from Earth now. Very far. His family had moved to this station 3 years ago. Earth was crowded. Jobs were hard to find. The Galactic Council had opened space to humans only 10 years before. Many families left Earth to find better lives among the stars. Tay was a quiet man. He was 34 years old. His hair was short and black. His eyes were dark and calm. But those eyes had seen war. Before coming to space, Tay had been a Marine. He had fought in 3 conflicts on Earth. He had killed men. He had watched friends die. War had changed him. It had made him quiet. It had made him careful. But it had not made him weak. His wife Hannah sat on the small couch behind him. She was reading something on her tablet. Hannah was kind and gentle. She worked as a nurse on the station. The aliens found her skills useful. Human medicine was different from theirs. Sometimes different was good. Their daughter Yuna played on the floor. She was 6 years old. She had her mother's smile and her father's serious eyes. Yuna was a curious child. She liked to explore. She liked to ask questions. Everything on the station was new and exciting to her. Can I go to the garden level? Yuna asked. She looked up at her parents with hopeful eyes. Hannah smiled. Stay on the main paths. Don't talk to strangers. Come back before dinner. Yes, Mother. Yuna jumped up and ran to the door. She was gone before Tay could say anything. He watched the door close. Something felt wrong. He did not know why. It was just a feeling. A small voice in his head. But he had learned to trust that voice. It had saved his life many times during the war. She will be fine, Hannah said. She could always read his mood. The station is safe. Tay nodded. But he did not believe it. Not fully. He had seen too much of the galaxy to believe anywhere was truly safe. Yuna skipped through the corridors of Orbital 7. The walls were white and clean. Lights glowed softly from the ceiling. Aliens walked past her. Some were tall. Some were short. Some walked on 2 legs. Some walked on 4. Yuna was not afraid of them. She had grown up around aliens. To her, they were just people. The garden level was beautiful. Trees and flowers from 100 worlds grew there. The air smelled sweet. Yuna liked to sit under the purple trees from the violet system. Their leaves made soft sounds when the air moved. She walked along the main path. Then she saw something. A small door. It was partly open. Light came from inside. Yuna had never seen this door before. Her curious mind wanted to know what was behind it. She looked around. No one was watching. She walked to the door and pushed it open. Inside was a long corridor. It was darker than the main paths. The walls were gray instead of white. Signs in alien languages hung on the walls. Yuna could not read them. She did not know they said restricted area. She walked forward. Her small feet made soft sounds on the metal floor. The corridor turned left, then right. Yuna did not realize she was getting lost. Then she heard footsteps. Heavy footsteps. Coming toward her, Officer Vila turned the corner. She was tall, almost 7 feet. Her skin was covered in dark green scales. Her eyes were yellow with black slits in the center. She wore the uniform of the Galactic Enforcement Division. A badge on her chest showed her rank. She had served the Council for 40 years. She believed in order. She believed in rules. And she believed that humans were nothing but animals from a death world. Vila stopped when she saw the human child. Her yellow eyes narrowed. "What are you doing here?" Her voice was cold and sharp, like metal scraping on stone. Yuna looked up at the tall alien. Fear began to grow in her heart. I was just looking. I got lost. This area is restricted. Can you not read?" Vila pointed at the signs on the wall. "I don't know those words," Yuna said. Her voice was small. "I'm sorry. I will go back now." She turned to leave, but Vila's hand shot out and grabbed her arm. The grip was strong. It hurt. "You humans think you can go anywhere. Do anything." Vila's face twisted with anger. "You have been in space for only 10 years. You know nothing. You are nothing. Please let me go." Tears formed in Yuna's eyes. "You're hurting me." "Hurting you?" Vila laughed. It was an ugly sound. "I will show you what hurting means." She raised her other hand. It was large, covered in scales, hard as stone, and she struck Yuna across the face. The blow was powerful. Yuna flew backward. Her small body hit the wall with a terrible sound. She fell to the ground. Blood came from her nose, from her lip. She did not move. Vila looked down at the child. She felt nothing. No guilt, no worry. To her, the human was just an animal. Animals needed to be taught lessons. She turned and walked away. Her footsteps echoed in the empty corridor in his apartment. Tay suddenly stood straight. The feeling of wrongness had grown stronger. Much stronger. He grabbed his tablet and opened the station's security system. He was not supposed to have access, but he had learned many skills during the war. Hacking was one of them. He searched for his daughter. Camera after camera. Corridor after corridor. Then he found her. He saw the video. He saw Vila grab his daughter. He saw the blow. He saw Yuna's small body hit the wall. He saw her lying still on the ground. Blood on her face. The tablet cracked in his hands. He had squeezed it too hard. Hana looked up. She saw her husband's face. She had never seen that look before. It was not anger. It was something deeper. Something darker. Something ancient. "What is it?" she asked. "What happened?" Tay did not answer. He was already running toward the door. In that moment, something changed in the universe. A line had been crossed. A human child had been hurt. And somewhere deep in Tay's mind, a door opened. Behind that door was the thing that made humans dangerous. The thing that made their planet a death world. The thing that other species had only read about in reports. It was the rage of a parent. The rage of a predator. The rage of a species that had fought its way to the top of the food chain on one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. And it was about to be unleashed.